Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to Under the Yard Sports. I'm Eric Hobbs,
And I'm David Woldingen.
and it's time for your top 10 Missouri Tigers to take on the Florida Gators. And, we're going to talk about this game, this matchup, and what we see going on. But first, please, guys, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel, like the video, sign up for notifications, and then follow us on Facebook, on Instagram, and on X. And by the way, the UTA toy drive is underway, trying to raise money to help pay for Christmas presents for underprivileged kids in the St. Louis area. We've got more than $100 raised so far. We're trying to get to 1,000. So, check out the link in the description below. And thanks in advance for helping us out. Now, David, a common theme in our preview videos is we're waiting for Missouri to play 4 quarters. And we finally saw Mizzou play 4 quarters against Tennessee, and the result was domination.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, it was quite fun to watch. I mean, there's a lot of good to take away, but at the same time, there's still a lot of things they can work on, especially on the offensive side. I felt like Brady Cook, when he was going back to pass, had a lot of pressure on him so they could clean up their pass blocking. And then they still had a few procedure penalties that were unnecessary. Cameron Johnson, thank you very much. But other than that, it was a really, really good game.
Yeah, dominant, as I said. And, the College Football Playoff Committee, they rewarded Mizzou up 5 spots all the way to number 9. And, there's no knowing until it's actually announced, but it certainly appears as though for Missouri, it's winning you're in to a New Year's Six bowl game. We'll see what happens. And if Missouri were to lose either of its remaining games, that all becomes irrelevant. But hey, that's plenty of motivation right there. They got to take care of business against the Gators, David. Florida coming in here at 5-5. And, as exciting as it is for Mizzou, it's got to be kind of just not quite a death march, but just kind of meh for the Gators right now. Started off pretty nice. Oh, so they started off 5-2. They've lost 3 straight, including a home loss to Arkansas.
Yeah, and I was going to mention that. Second year under Billy Napier, he's still building his program down there. To his credit, the talent is coming around, and I think he has something going down there. It's just a matter of putting it all together. And they have a quarterback, Graham Martz, who was a transfer in this last year. I don't think they were expecting much out of him, and he has actually ended up being better, a little bit better than average, honestly.
Oh, and when Graham Mertz was announced as the Florida starting quarterback, everyone was laughing, like, what is this Big Ten kid coming? This ain't going to work out. And everybody thought Florida's offense was going to be absolute trash because of him. And, credit him for, persevering and really just elevating his game to the point of being, I'd argue, a little bit above average quarterback in the SEC.
Yeah,
that's one spot where Florida is not necessarily in that bad a shape.
Just to give you an idea, he has almost 3,000 passing yards at a 73% completion ratings, 18 TDs and only 2 interceptions. So he's done a great job, especially considering he's been sacked 30 times this year.
30 sacks, man. That well, what was the ranking? We looked at this just before we started filming. Tied for 112th in the country, I believe.
Yeah,
with those 30 sacks allowed. For comparison, Missouri has allowed 18, which is kind of middle of the pack. So, yeah. Part of that is due to Mertz not really being a threat to run. If you can collapse the pocket, he's just kind of done with. Whereas Brady Cook has the escapability to make something out of nothing, as we saw in the Tennessee game 3 or 4 times, where he was able to scramble and get a first down when Tennessee thought they might be able to stop the drive.
Most notably on the 2 yard line.
Yeah, yeah, that looked like it was going to be a safety. He disappeared, and the next thing you know, he's running free for 20 yards. Now, this Florida team, I I don't know, at 5-5, you need a win again at number 9 or against number 4, the Seminoles, their rival. They need that for bowl eligibility. So you would expect them to come in with some desperation. At the same time, this could be a team that, if Missouri jumps on them early, might just say, all right, enough's enough. And they might just, mail it in. They may not have the intensity to put up the fight for all 4 quarters if the Tigers can pounce on them early. And let's face it, I think this means something. I played wide receiver. David thinks this means nothing. He played on the offensive line. Got a bunch of Florida kids coming up for a night game in Columbia, Missouri in mid-November where weather's going to be low 40s, upper 30s. They get down early. They're going to be standing on the sidelines, freezing and losing. They may want no part of being in that game. I don't think that will be a major deciding factor, but it may make them kind of, fold the tents a little earlier and may kind of hurt the amount of fight they have. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. David thinks I'm full of crap on that one.
Yeah, the only way I think they fold because of weather is if it's like below 30, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, because they're still moving around out there on the field and producing body heat, and you have the pads and everything else to keep you warm. They're fine. They're going to be fine. It's not an issue.
Yeah, for fans in the stands, you're probably going to want to, bundle up. Yeah, get some warm hydration of sorts at your tailgate, and get ready to go that way. Yeah, this is a weird game, David. Missouri has their strongest advantage on both offensive and defensive line matching up with Florida.
Yeah, and Florida has a fairly decent run game. It's not as stout as Tennessee's was supposed to be, but they have 2 really good backs in Trevor Etienne and Montreal Johnson. Both of them right around 630 yards, both almost splitting carries, quite honestly. So they got a 2-back system, and they're both solid running backs. Then on the passing side of things, they have Ricky Pearsall as their number 1 receiver. And then quite honestly, the rest of the guys are used quite often. Mertz does a really good job of just spreading the football around. So you really don't want to cover just one guy because you never know who he's going to throw the ball to. So coverage-wise, it's going to be a challenge for our secondary. I know Drink said in his presser for this upcoming week that they really like their odd man front on the defense side of the ball. And he said one of the reasons was before they were dropping their defensive ends back in coverage a little bit, but now they have a much better coverage in the short game, especially filling up some of those gaps that were presenting themselves. So he was saying that for the foreseeable future, that's probably going to be one of their staple defenses that they use, which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah, pretty candid on Drink's part, to be honest with you. But it worked against Tennessee. And, Florida throwing the football is kind of the one aspect of this game where the scales are a little more balanced. And I feel like Florida's not at a major disadvantage. Graham Mertz is capable. Ricky Pearsall's dangerous. And Missouri's pass defense, despite Abrams, Drain, and Rakestraw being great corners, the pass defense is not that great. A lot of bend but don't break kind of tendencies. So maybe they're not giving up tons of points, but they do give up a good amount of yards. Now, if that odd man front, the three down lineman or whatever, if that helps take away a lot of the short routes, even the intermediate routes too, maybe, man, that makes life so much easier on the linebackers for Missouri, especially if Tyron Hopper isn't able to go.
Well,
And
and
go ahead.
I will also include if they can get some really good pressure on Mertz, that might really
Oh,
help the passing coverages as well.
oh, absolutely. And that's where Missouri is gonna kind of minimize, I think, more than alignment is the fact that I think they're gonna have Mertz running for his life.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, now, David, for you, what's one key to this game?
For me, the key in this game, before I was saying third down, they did a fantastic job on that last week. This week, I'm going to say Brady Cook's legs.
Hmm.
Um, Escaping pressure, escaping the pocket, extending drives. He showed how dangerous he was in the Tennessee game. If he can continue to play like that and keep the offense alive in their stressful situations, and on top of that, his decision making throwing the ball, I think is just going to be key for this offense, especially in this game.
And see, for me, I think the key is to start fast. Florida's offense is capable. Okay, they they can score, but start fast. This is a defense that is not that good in SEC play. They're getting shredded. They gave up 39 points to Arkansas. I'll grant you that was overtime, but still, they gave up 39 points to South Carolina. There are a lot of other games where they gave up a lot of points. What they gave, I mean, LSU's LSU. They gave up 52 to LSU, which is a lot, but of course, LSU does that to everybody, as Mizzou fans well know. Um, the point is, if you're an SEC offense and you have a pulse, you're going to move the ball, take away all doubt early. Missouri is the better team. Remind the Gators of that. And Missouri walks away with this. So, with that, kind of foreshadowing my pick on this game, it's simple. Missouri's fighting for New Year's Six Bowl. Florida's fighting for any bowl. If Missouri plays 4 quarters like they did against Tennessee, Florida can't win. It's as simple as that. I think this team is focused. I think they're disciplined mentally enough that I don't see a lapse. And the Florida defense will not be able to keep up. The Missouri defensive line is going to have Mertz running for his life. Tigers roll by 3 scores, 41-20.
I think Mizzou's going to continue their something to prove redemption tour mantra here against Florida. They're going to come out firing, like you said. The wild card is how good this defense is. I mean, they held Tennessee to 7 points, which
It was a miracle play.
Which was the lowest Heupel any Heupel team has had at Tennessee. So it was hard for me to pick a score for Florida. On the Florida side of things, I think Mizzou's going to score 38, and I have Florida scoring 17 for this game. I would like to see Drink have a little bit of a killing instinct just in case there's a chance that Ole Miss or somebody else might bump Mizzou out of the New Year's
Yeah.
Six. I think at this point you're now looking at style points, possibly. I don't know. But I think Mizzou's going to win this pretty handily, and I think it's going to be a quite enjoyable senior night. And friendly reminder to anyone who's interested, tickets are super cheap for the Arkansas game. I think I saw some on Ticketmaster for as low as $4. So
Man.
if you want to get down there, support the Missouri Tigers, something to think about right after Thanksgiving. Until then, we'll keep you updated with all things Mizzou. So make sure you continue to watch us here at Under the Arch Sports.